My name is Sarah, and my son, Jacob, was my greatest hope. I lived in a bustling metropolitan city, surrounded by my husband, Michael, my stepmother, Evelyn, my older sister, Laura, and my younger brother, Daniel. Our family ran a social media empire with millions of followers, built on polished blogs, luxury lifestyle content, charity events, and the fate of a perfect, united family. We filmed in our sleek penthouse, capturing staged moments of joy, editing late into the night, and sharing tales of our legacy of wealth and generosity. I was 44, the emotional soul of our brand, pouring my heart into every video, while dreaming of opening a community center for single mothers inspired by my own struggles as a young parent. 25 years ago, when I was 19, I gave birth to Jacob, but my family told me he was stillborn, a loss that broke me. I thought I could honor his memory, keep him alive in my heart. I was so wrong. The nightmare began days after Jacob's birth. I was recovering in the hospital, weak and grieving, when Evelyn sat me down, her voice cold but gentle. "Jacob didn't make it, Sarah," she said, showing me a forged death certificate. Laura nodded, whispering, "It's better this way." Daniel stayed silent, his gaze down. Michael, my then boyfriend, urged me to move on for our future. They told me he'd been delirious, that it agreed to let him go. Devastated, I believed them, blaming myself for failing my son. Our followers never knew me. Grief was spun into a vague personal loss narrative, boosting the brand's sympathy points. I buried my pain, believing it lost Jacob forever. The annual corporate gala, a year after my marriage to Michael, was Evelyn's idea. "Let's showcase our empire," she said, her smile calculated. I envisioned a night to heal, glittering lights, influential guests, a chance to announce my community center. I spent months planning, choosing a burgundy dress to mask my sorrow, preparing a speech about resilience, hoping to find purpose. Daniel helped with tech, and Michael and Laura teased a family milestone. I was fragile but determined, clutching a faded ultrasound photo of Jacob, believing they shared my loss. I'd lay awake, replaying the hospital days, praying it'd been enough for him, believing they cared. I was naive, blind to the conspiracy they were hiding. The gala night arrived, and our venue was a spectacle: glass walls reflecting city lights, chandeliers sparkling, a jazz band filling the air. I stood in my burgundy dress, Jacob's ultrasound photo in my purse, greeting guests with a trembling smile. Our followers floated the live stream. Sarah's so strong, family goals, my heart ached, but I held on to hope. Laura took the stage, her voice polished, and I expected her to introduce my speech. Instead, her tone turned sharp. "We must address Sarah," she said, projecting a screen with a forged letter supposedly mine, confessing it abandoned Jacob to focus on my career, endangering the brand. The crowd gasped, their eyes piercing me. Then, a second screen showed real email Mitchell's correspondence with an adoption agency, arranging to give Jacob away to secure a deal with a wealthy donor family tied to our brand. I was frozen, my breath caught, clutching Jacob's photo as tears welled. The letter was a lead, never written it, never abandoned him. But Michael's emails were real, and his betrayal for money hit like a storm, shattering my soul. "This isn't true," I cried, my voice breaking, the photo trembling in my hands. But Laura pressed on, her words venomous. "Sarah's choice broke our family," she said, her eyes gleaming with fake tears. Evelyn stepped forward, her face a mask of sorrow. "We're heartbroken, Sarah. You failed us." Michael nodded, his voice heavy. "We trusted you, and you've ruined our name." Daniel stayed silent, eyes down. The live stream erupted with hate. "Sarah abandoned her son. She's a disgrace," guests whispered. Sponsors turned away and followers unfollowed in droves. My gala, my moment to heal, became a public execution. I fled to a quiet terrace, sobbing over Jacob's photo, the city lights mocking my pain. My family had framed me to hide their greed, but I didn't know the depths of their deception. I confronted Evelyn the next day, my eyes swollen, my voice raw, clutching Jacob's photo. "Why would you forge that letter? Why give him away?" I demanded. She smirked, her eyes cold. "The empire's worth more than your tears, Sarah. You were asking too many questions." My mind raced, piecing it together. For years it'd been probing their finances, missing charity funds, secret deals, and Evelyn's late-night calls. They'd arranged Jacob's adoption to a donor family, securing a massive investment for their brand. My questions about the hospital missing records, odd nurse behavior threatened their scheme, so they framed me as a negligent mother to silence me. Laura admitted it, her voice flat. "We had to protect our legacy." Daniel mumbled, "It's for the family," avoiding my gaze. Michael, guilty, said, "I thought it was best, but confessed had agreed to the adoption for profit. They didn't cast me out, they buried me, editing me out of blogs, spreading lies online that I was unstable, ensuring I was shunned. The city saw me as the mother who abandoned her son, a pariah. The next 25 years were a torment. I stayed in the penthouse, a ghost in their empire, my role reduced to a silent figurehead. I stopped creating content, retreating to my room, replaying the hospital days in my head. The forged letter haunted me. Had I failed Jacobs? Evelyn's calls were relentless, her voice soft but cutting. "Maybe you were too young, Sarah." Laura texted, "We love you, but you need help." Daniel urged me to move on. Michael, now distant, asked me to let it go for peace. Their gaslighting was so convincing, I doubted myself, questioning if I'd given him up. It held Jacob's photo, terrified I'd lost him forever. My dream of a community center faded, replaced by grief. I avoided the city, dodging whispers at stores and events, my heart breaking with every hate comment online. "Sarah's a failure. She doesn't deserve a son." I was a shadow, my son gone, my family's love a lie. But one night, alone in my study, I found Jacob's old hospital bracelet, tucked in a forgotten box, with a note in my handwriting, "My Jacob, I'll always love you." It reignited a spark. I was at the villain, been betrayed. I started digging, using old contacts from the influencer world. Jacob, now 25, was alive, a successful CEO of a tech startup, unaware of his true origins. The truth unraveled. Evelyn had orchestrated his adoption to the Dunner family, who raised him as their own, while she used their investment to launder money through the brand's charity. Michael had known, profiting from the deal. Laura orchestrated the cover-up, while Daniel was a reluctant pawn, pressured by Evelyn. The conspiracy was vast, and Jacob's adoption was their way of controlling me. I resolved to find Jacob and expose their lies, not just for him, but for every family they'd manipulated. The family's annual legacy gala was approaching, a live-streamed extravaganza with millions watching, meant to announce a new corporate partnership. I had Ollie's new former staff, a private investigator, and a hacker who'd accessed Evelyn's servers. I contacted Jacob through his startup, sending a letter with his hospital bracelet, explaining the truth. He agreed to meet, and we reunited in a quiet park, tears flowing as he grappled with his stolen past. I wasn't out to destroy my family, but to reclaim Jacob and the truth. I practiced my speech, my voice trembling but fierce, knowing this was our chance. The legacy gala arrived, a dazzling spectacle of lights, music, and opulence, packed with influencers, CEOs, and celebrities. Evelyn shone on stage, preaching about innovation and unity, Michael by her side, Laura charming, Daniel uneasy. I entered with Jacob's bracelet, dressed in a bold silver gown, my heart pounding. Jacob, sharp in a tailored suit, waited backstage as a surprise guest. As Evelyn's speech peaked, her voice dripping with hypocrisy, I signaled my allies to hijack the live stream. The giant screen flickered, revealing my evidence adoption records, emails, the forged letter, and proof of the money laundering scheme. "This is the truth about my family," I said, stepping into the spotlight, my voice steady. "They stole my son, framed me, and built their empire on lies. I'm sorry and am done being their scapegoat." Jacob joined me, his voice commanding. In Jacob and I was taken from my mother. She was betrayed, but we're here to take back our truth. The crowd gasped, phones recording, the stream floating with shock. Evelyn froze, her face pale. Laura tried to interrupt, but my allies blocked her. I poured out my heart, tears streaming. I loathed this family, our dream, our Jacob, but they hid him from me, gaslit me, made me feel like a failure. I found him, and am bringing him home. I spoke of the grief, the years of doubt, the moment I saw his name. Jacob shared his journey, his success, his stolen past. The audience cheered, some sobbing as sharp Sarah hand Jacob trended. We walked off stage, hand in hand, our presence blazing, leaving them to face their ruin. The aftermath was seismic. The live stream went viral, followers abandoned the brand, and sponsors pulled out. The Dunner family faced scrutiny, Evelyn's empire collapsed, and Lara was shunned. Michael, shattered, apologized, but I chose divorce, focusing on Jacob. Daniel, horrified, vowed to make amends, and I forgave him. Been manipulated. Jacob and I rebuilt our bond, launching my community center for single mothers. My new community parents, survivors, dreamers cheered our first event. I'm still healing, the grief a scar. I miss Daniel's kindness, even Laura's old warmth before Evelyn's influence. The empire's collapse hurts, but I'm not the mother who doubted herself anymore. I'm Sarah who found her son, who knows her truth, who'll never let lies dim her light. Exposing them was our triumph, our way of saying we're enough. A mother's love never fades, and truth always surfaces. Don't let anyone silence your strength or steal your heart. If this story broke you, like and subscribe for more real-life dramas. Share your fight in the comments.